Hey there stars, welcome back to the channel. My name is kaaramary, and in today's tutorial I'll be showing you how I am using asymmetric scrap fabrics to create fun sewing projects, especially now back to school. I feel like there's so many cute fun things that you can make, and so we're going to use their colorful scraps to get started in these projects. As you know, this is your destination for all upcycling fashion, and as you know, sewing is my passion and I care a lot about eco-friendly fashion, upcycling, recycling, all the different words that there are just to say simple sewing projects that you can do at home. So let's get started.
Gonna start off this tutorial with the XXL scrunchies. So pretty much because I'm working with scraps, I'm working with the size. I noticed that with 4 patches, I got a length that is about 26 inches, and I like that. And then the width of each one is 5 inches. So the height is 5 inches and the length is 26. And all I did was sew the scraps together, and then I pretty much just went back with my scissor and cut it. And the next step is to fold it in half with the back side, with the wrong side facing you, and pin it. And then I sewed a 0.25 inch seam allowance. And then my nice easy trick, as you can see here in the detail, I take a safety pin just like this, and then that allows me to push it in. It is a wide tube, but I pretty much like to use this trick because with the safety pin, it just makes it so much more easier to pull. Try this out and comment below if you like it. One thing that you do have to notice is that if you go back to my old scrunchie tutorial, you'll see this detail. I leave an opening on the tube so then I can just sew this shelf like edge together. So I sew the ends together by leaving this opening, and I pin it. And as you fold, you're going to see it's going to look like this fan. You want to sew that with a 0.25 seam allowance, and then voila, this is the result. That's how it's going to look. And then once you're done sewing it, just like this, pull it, and then you're done. See? Look how clean it already looks, and all you need is the elastic now. And I go back to my safety pin. I cut the elastic a 7-inch length, and then I bring it inside of this tube like headband shape that I've made, and that starts to scrunch up the fabric, and I start to see the results. And because it is 5 inches in height, that's what's making it so much larger. And now I just tie it double knot. I like to double knot just for security. It's just an extra security in there, and you want to pull it, just pull it to make sure. And then now I'm going to do a top stitch. If you want, you can go ahead and pin it just how I did, and that lets you know the area that you have to stitch. And once I'm done with the top stitch, it's gonna look like this. Done! It's finally done. Look how cute it looks. I love how like the look of the XL scrunchies, because it just looks fun and gives a nice texture, especially with these patchwork. Love it. Now we're gonna move on to the patchwork tote bag. This was me playing around. I didn't know how I wanted the patches to look, so I would recommend that you do the same, just spread it out on your table. And now I'm just gonna sew each of the patches together, and it's gonna look like this. My trick is to do 1 row at a time. So 3 rows, then follow with the next 2, and you're gonna have the checker like. As you see, my seam allowance are a 0.25, and then I like to lay the fabrics on top just to even it out. You could go with a ruler, but I'm much more rustic and experimental when it comes to cleaning up my edges. So in order to have them be the same length, I simply just lay them on top of each other. And for me, this technique just saves me time, and I get really good results this way. So this is something you can try, and let me just show you how it looks. Like, it looks already beautiful seeing all these different fabrics together. Asymmetric just has beautiful colors. Each of the orange, the red, the yellow, they're my favorite color, and then against these other ones, beautiful. Now I moved on to the lining. So the lining, I tend to make it a 0.5 length and width shorter, and this is more because it reduces bulking. Once I sew the edges together, leaving a opening, I cut the ends so it can have a nice corner. Strips, then I have 4 strips, and the way I create my strips is that I lay the strips on top of each other and then sew them on the long side, on the length, and the length is 26 inches. I recommend that you take a measuring tape, put it over your shoulder and see the length that you want your strip to be. This is how I determined that I needed them to be 26 inches. And then I take the same technique as the scrunchie, the safety pin, and then I pull. This is such an amazing trick. Like, it is so time saving. I love it. And then I iron it. And then pretty much after I'm done with the strip, I sew it on the front of the tote bag, like on the inside, like on the front side. It looks wrong, but it's right. And then you want to take the face, like the front of the bag, and then insert it inside the lining. So you're going to sew around the tote bag. What I did was I sewed around the tote bag, and then I pinned where I want to leave an opening. The opening is gonna let me turn the bag inside out, and it looked like this. Like, as you can see, my stitches are a 0.5 seam allowance, and then the little hole that I left open, that's where I'm gonna pull it. So if you remember, like, rewind back to the video and return to that technique where you can see the wrong side of the lining is facing me, and then the wrong side of the front is like on the inside. Just rewind back so you can understand. It's hard to explain. Visually, it pretty much shows. And then I just close that opening, and they're done with a top stitch. And you can have a matching stitch, and it's perfect. I love it. It's so cute, and it matches the scrunchie. Next up, the last tutorial with these scraps is a drawstring pencil case. So if you don't have a zipper or velcro, drawstrings are easy, and the way I determine the size is just having a pencil next to each other. And it's similar to the patchwork where I am sewing two fabrics together, and I don't own a serger, so I did a top stitch, almost like a flat thumb, but not really. And then I cleaned my edges also by folding twice. So I fold once a 0.25 and then fold again, just to have a clean edge, like a clean seam. However, if you have a serger, you don't have to, you can skip this and just simply lay them on top of each other and sew. Before sewing though, I recommend that you take your drawstring, take your ruler next to each other, and do the same thing that I did, which is just determine how wide I need the opening of the drawstring to be. And I saw that it was a 0.5. Then I marked it with my pen, sewed it together, folded, and there I took my safety pin, inserted it inside the opening that I left. As you can see, there's these edges, and then I inserted, I double knotted. Double knotting just like secures it in, so that just lets me know that they're secure and doing well. I cut it with my scissor, and then they're done. No button or velcro or zipper required. Nice simple DIY to have your pencils, your pens, your coloring pencils, any tool that you need for marking inside, and to carry it in your tote bag. I am so excited to show you. Let me show you right now. I even have like a matching orange top. Like, if you remember, this is for my thrift haul. I thrifted this orange top when I went to the Dominican Republic in a flea market. For the tote bag, the scrunchie, the drawstrings are amazing together, exactly how I imagined. Make sure to give the video a like, subscribe to the channel, come back, go see my other tutorials, and comment below which of these 3 sewing projects you love using scraps. I'll see you again. Keep on shining, stars.